All right, boys, what's up? I'm here. It's 2:16 on Monday, so we have a show upcoming. We are still awaiting the release of draft season. So again, I just want to give you guys a quick update. I figured this is the easiest way to do this instead of me going online trying to explain everything, all the changes that that are happening, and giving you guys updates. I figure the best way for me to do this is I could just make a quick video. I'll upload it to YouTube. It's probably the better way to use YouTube. And then what we can do is I'll have that up there for you guys to check out whenever you can. That way you're not trying to find it in the middle of the stream and watch it back. And then you guys can, you'll also be able to see it via pop-up. I'll put a pop-up on the actual website. That way everybody sees it. And again, you guys can get all the good information. All right, so a couple things we're going to go over real quick. Again, we're still waiting for the fix to the draft season. It does not mean that we are going to be delaying our drafts today, 3 p.m. I'm going to be up. We're going to be doing a live draft for everybody. So if you guys can get in, that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully you did get in. Hopefully you end up winning today. But again, we're going to be doing one of these every Friday, and then the best ball drafts on Wednesday. So real quick, we're going to talk about sub changes and the new tiering structure that has some people a little outraged and other people kind of understanding. But it should make sense. I'm going to explain all the changes, why they're happening, and how it's all going to look, and kind of the reason for it, and why it makes more sense to do it this way. Okay, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about, real quick, I just want to highlight the different changes that we've implemented. If you weren't here over the past 10 days or whatever, we first pushed these newer changes with regards to holiday blackouts, and then the ties stuff. We'll go over that as well in the end. But first things first, let's jump into this part, okay? So I saw some people talking about it in general, chat, back and forth. I was going through everything over the weekend and trying to make some good changes with regards to the payout structure, stuff that we've done, like an update to what we did recently when we were able to get the new tiered payout system, right? Whether you are a tier 1 subscriber or a tier 1 subscriber or a tier 1 subscriber. Weird, right? It changed. And I'll explain why I changed this too. This is a little different from what you guys saw this morning, waking up. But anyway, this is going to be the new structure, at least for this month and heading into September. And the big reasons behind some of the changes that are going to be made, whether it be blackout, capped, or the unlimited setup. And I also have some changes coming to the unlimited quickies. But I'm trying to differentiate them and make I like to create differences between all of the games, okay, while trying to keep it all fair and balanced and whatnot, and not pushing so many people away, but making it so that, hey, if you can contribute a little bit, you want to subscribe, you'll get a little more without breaking it, right? But what we've kind of noticed, and I even got a DM about this saying, sorry, did I break the game? No, you didn't. Look, it's an RPG, right? We know people love the game, are passionate, are not willing to wait. You want to get in, you want to kind of rip, you want to go quick, right? It's like any RPG. And trying to balance the entire game, trying to balance the tier of subs and whatnot, it is very challenging, right? Last thing we want to do is break the game, but it has to be inviting to people, right? And so some of the stuff we've seen recently where, you have people choosing, multiple tier 1 subs over a tier 2 or a tier 3 sub, that just tells me that there's no reason for the tier 3 sub, or if there is a good reason, well, there's still a better reason maybe to split it up or have your main be a tier 3 or whatever. I've seen people talk about, oh, well, I have other tier 1 subs, it's just my farm and things to send over resources and packs and things to my main. And again, that's okay, right? But as long as we've built everything so that it's not really taken advantage of, right? And so what does that mean? I think the great philosopher Josh 17 once said, it's never going to be right until the only things tradable are cards that you get from coin packs. And he's probably kind of right? And with that in mind, this is kind of where a lot of these changes came from, right? Looking at the people who would just say, hey, I'm just going to multiple tier 1 sub. I don't really care. I just want to play unlimited. I'm going to spread all my cards across all the unlimited or all the tier 1 accounts instead. And I'm just going to get as many resources. That really shouldn't be a thing, okay? And that's one of the biggest reasons for not only being able to split up the prizes, but then also being able to like actually tier the prizes a bit, okay? And I'm going to show you guys the reason why I did each game. I'm going to show you kind of the breakdown and how it all worked. And then we're going to talk about like what the progression should be and why you should want to sub at each individual tier, okay? So the 3 tiers, tier 1, $5 a month, tier 2, $10 a month, tier 3, $25 a month, right? Again, even if you tier 3 and you do nothing else, the fact that you get 15 tickets a week every Saturday, yes, the Saturday pack release, which is midnight-ish, 10 to midnight every Saturday, for anybody who's new and watching this, every Saturday, we used to do it where we give out packs. It's kind of gotten to the point now where like we're trying to find things that are better for counts that have been here or that are new and also been here longer. And what it ends up being is realistically scrap is the biggest thing that everybody needs. So that's why every Saturday we give out the scrap packs. And again, it's tiered, right? You get a little bit of scrap for being a tier 1 sub. Awesome. And you get, a bunch more as you go up. If you want to see the exacts, you can go to the top right, click the drop down, go to your announcement section. And there is a level up pop-up that shows you all the different things you get. And it's a lot, man. You're talking legendary pubes, epic pubes as you climb the tier ladder. But even just the 15 tickets alone is already enough to make the tier 3 sub a big deal, right? It basically pays for itself, right? You get the, full-on double coins and XP and everything through missions. And it's just a much better value in general. Let's talk about why the structure is now, the way it is, okay? And what I'm doing to kind of like fix this entire thing, okay? So you guys have probably seen over the weekend, I was working on the different contest payout structures, and I was trying to go through and, again, to follow in Ja's lead, the only way in which this works with payouts and whatnot is with coins, with trophies, things like that. They should be based off of, they should be ratioed per, against the tier, or pro rata versus the amount of money paid per sub, right? So this is what I came up with this weekend. And again, I'm going to go over this one because this one did change a little bit. I did have these tiers broken down into a tier 3 and a tier 2 additional into like each of the prize sets, whether it be first prize, second prize, third to fifth. But what you'll notice is in Blackout, I broke the main tiers of prizes down into first place, second place, third to fifth, and then sixth to 10th. Those are the top tier prizes, I guess you would say. Okay, 10th all the way up to first. Okay, and then there are other supplementary prizes, whether you come in 11th to 20th, 21st to 30th, although it says 21st to 30th and 31st to 40th. Yeah, nice one, John. Anyway, the reason being with this one, and why I went back to just tier 1 sub only for everything here, is I also do have to keep into mind not just the fact that you're a higher paid sub tier, but also the fact that you get more entries as a tier 3, okay? And I did change this. So I've said it before in the past. I think it works a lot better with not so many entries. Around 3, I think, is probably the proper. But in the past, giving 1 for free, 1 for tier 2, 1 for tier 3, you've seen me all jump around, and it never really made a lot of sense. But in looking at Blackout this weekend and thinking about it, realistically, the way this is working is your first entry in this is technically, it's the free entry. That is the tier 1 sub entry. Why? You get the same 1 entry, whether you're a free player or you have your tier 1, and the prizes are segregated anyway. So if you win, no matter what, subbed or not, you're going to get the first prize listed under each of the tiers, but then also you're going to get the bonus below it if you are a tier 1 sub. Now, again, it didn't make sense to have tier 2 and tier 3 sub breaks in here, or tier breaks, just because, we have multiple lineups, okay? And because of that, and to kind of flatten it a bit and make it a little more competitive, I guess, if you were a tier 1 sub or a free player, I didn't want, 10 entries for tier 3. And because this is the very beginning, right? This is the game you can get into right at the beginning. This is the starter, like the early game contest. It makes sense to keep this tier 1 sub and then the excess stuff broken off as free prizes, all untradeable stuff that you see as the first one listed, and then a maxed out at a tier 1 sub reward after that, okay? And so this is how we're going to keep Blackout. Blackout should be the friendly game, the first thing you play when you first show up. This makes a lot of sense, okay? So if you go back through, again, top 10 is where the big prize breaks are. Below that, there are no sub prizes. You're going to pick up a bunch of packs, and this is where you're going to get a good amount of scrap, okay? Remember, you have up to 3 entries if you're a tier 3 subscriber, and again, it goes free, tier 2, tier 3. I didn't want to overblow it with tier 3 because you have a lot of other stuff that you're going to see here in a minute. But all these packs, everything you see, it's all untradeable. Yes, the scrap is tradable, but again, it kind of is what it is. There are ways of doing that, and you guys all know if you really wanted to get some more scrap. But end of the day, all these changes, it's so that, like, you don't feel that you need to have all these tier 1 subs floating around feeding your tier 3 account or your main account. It should reflect the ratio so that, yeah, you can do it and it will be helpful, but it's not going to be the be all end all, okay? So Blackout is going to be like this. Everything in Blackout is going to be available up to tier 1 subscriber. Again, $5 a month will get you everything on the marked rewards prize pool here, okay? Now let's get to Capped. So Capped, technically, I would consider this, mid to upper game, but more of like a mid game thing, okay? And we've done a pretty good job of, like, with the different floating caps, Monday being 5 to 15%, I think, Friday being upper to like maybe 20% of the cap, 25% depending. I think we've done a pretty good job. But again, this doesn't play perfectly. It's it's still an upper tier game, but you can get into some of the lower rated contests in this, I think, pretty quickly, as long as you are in chat, in Discord, hanging with everybody, learning how to do holiday equip binds and things, and just learning the game a bit more. It should be pretty decently easy to get into this, okay? And so let's check out the structure here. So again, the prime prizes I will point out are basically top 20 in this range, okay? But it's going to be broken out a little bit more, okay? Not only do you have the base prizes that are the untradables that you have, this is, again, anybody can play this. Everybody in this set gets 1 entry, whether you are a free player, a tier 1, 2, or 3 player. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets 1, okay? And so what do? We then can tier the prizes to reflect that, and that's what I've done here. So I took into account all the prizes that we were already given out in Capped before the change, in Unlimited before the change, and everything you see is a reflection of that. It gives a little bit more as well. It flattens it out a little bit better, and it should play a lot better in this way, okay? So tier 1 prizes, you're going to see 150 trophies. If I have 150 trophies, I multiply by 10. That's the XP that I'm given in here, and it's broken out accordingly, okay? Base prize, 150 trophies, 1,500 XP. You're going to get the prize packs whether you are a sub or not. And then tiers 3, tiers 2, and tier 1. Tier 1 and 2 are the same. You'll pick up an additional 125 each of the trophies. And then 3 times that-ish to make the numbers prettier. You're going to pick up 350 as the top prize in the Capped game, okay? And again, I had to finagle numbers a little bit in my sheet just to kind of make it look a little bit prettier and to make sure we stayed pretty into the ratio. But this is going to be the new setup. Again, a free-to-play player, you can still get 6 rare plus 25 packs if you win Capped. That's a big deal. You'll still be able to grab, and this is where Capped comes in. A lot of the ability for you guys to finish off your trade ups and whatnot and get your tradable gear cards. This is going to be a lot coming from Capped, okay? So the way in which it's going to work, and again, remember, it was only an Epic event 3-pack prior, which, so this is a pretty big change. Now, the base prize stays that. It's going down to 6 mission rare 25 packs, but then tier 1 subscribers, you're going to pick up 125 bonus trophies and 1250 XP. Again, same upgrade for tier 2, but you're going to get a guaranteed event Epic Plus pack. So this could be anything, could be a base player, could be an insert piece, or this could be an insert player. Because everything is technically an insert in this one, you can't get base players as, because it's not a holiday. All 3 of these, this would basically be a player pack, and these would be equipment packs, okay? So tier 3, you're going to get the 350 trophies, 3,500, and then the 2 additional. So tier 3, it's going to pay to be a tier 3. You're going to get up to 6 epic packs for the event, again, to help you with your trade ups and whatnot on whatever holiday we're in for the month, okay? So that's how the top tier structure is going to be, okay? Second place, it drops from 150 to 100, and everything else is just multiplied off of that. And it goes down to 80 and 800, 80 and 800, and then 240 on the trophies, okay? So if you're a tier 3 subscriber, you come in second in the cap game for the week. You're going to pick up 80, 80, 240 there. So that's 400 trophies, right? An additional 100 here. That's 500 trophies. Plus you're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 epics on top and 4 packs. So the big difference between first and second, first gets 2 additional blue packs up here, plus the trophies are a bit heavier for first. But again, first, second, very nice prizes. And again, all of these prizes are basically taking what we had before, dispersing them a little bit better, making it make sense for the subscription tier and moving, okay? Third to fifth, again, you can come through and read through and see what everything is. 3, 4, 5 epics if you come third to fifth. That's a huge upgrade. I think it was maybe 1 or 2 before. Maybe I should burn this. This is a bit much, right? And then epic event 3-pack, and then down to a 2-pack. So 6 to 10, you're going to get 2 guaranteed epic plus packs. Again, it could be anything in this event. It'll work out. And then you'll get an additional 2 if you are a tier 3 sub with a guaranteed equipment pack and another one of these Epic Plus event packs, okay? The subscriber tiered packs, these are tradable. The base packs are not. Again, you can play for free. You can pay to be a tier 1, 2, or 3 sub, and you're going to get paid out accordingly. This makes a ton of sense, okay? Again, bigger prizes up to 20th place, and then there's some excess for 21st to 30th. You're still going to get a 50 pack, which is 10K worth of coin packs, just not tradable. And the same thing, you're going to get 4 packs for coming 31st to 40th, and then you get the base pack. So it's technically a 5-pack. This is 11 tickets worth, and so on. So that's going to be the new structure for Capped. Okay, I think it's a really good structure. I don't think it breaks anything. I think it rewards you for being a tier 3 sub, for supporting everything we're doing, and I think it makes sense. So again, free to play player, you're still going to get 150 trophies. Maybe this dissuades some people from just running a bunch of burners on the side or whatever, and then saving and trading across. It at least makes it a little bit tougher for them to really cause an issue, create an impact, exploit whiteouts and whatnot. This should be a lot better off, okay? All right, and then the one I started with, so this is the first thing I looked at, and this was straight up because of the fact that, there were people tier 1 subbing, just spreading their stuff, playing it unlimited multiple times, having a shot at all the coins, and again, that just did not make any sense. So this is the new structure. What you will also notice is coins have been pushed up a little bit higher into the prize tiers. If I go and I look at last time we ran in Unlimited, if you would have gotten 30,000 points in the game, would have been here. What would you have gotten? 13K there. 25,000 here gets you what? 10, 18K. 25,000 got you 13 before. You get the 35, you're going to add an additional 18K. So again, it very much pushes it up, flattens it a bit. It's roughly the same amount of coins that we've had in the past, but the structure is a lot cleaner, a lot simpler, and it makes a lot more sense. So I've also moved up coin tiers as well, about 5K as opposed, compared to where they were in the past. And so here we go. 5K is going to be the first time you guys are going to see anything. This is going to be subscriber 1. And all the coins, all the trophies, these are all subscriber tier rewards in this, okay? Which it has to be. So 5K, you're going to pick up 10 trophies plus 2,000 coins. You're going to go 15K is going to get you 10 and 6K, 25, 5, and 10K, plus you're going to get a resource pack. That means that's technically 10, 10, 30. We're going to go 50 trophies at 35K plus 18K. You're going to see the second resource pack, legendary, come in at 45K plus an additional 26,000 coins, and the 75 trophies, meaning that's a 100 trophy pack plus some pubes. 55K tier, we jump to 100 plus 34K, 65, 115 plus 42. 75, we have 62K, 180, and 85K, we have 280 trophies and 100,000 on top. Okay, 100K, that is where the unlimited super epic event insert is staying. I'm not sure why I left that subscriber 3. I should probably just make that a free tier. I'll have to remind myself to do that later, because why? It doesn't really matter. And then again, anything that's free, it's not going to be tradable stuff. But again, this is end game, okay? And this is the stuff that you really want, that you are gunning for. It's going to start with sort of the mid-game stuff, right? And so let me highlight everything that is basically tier 1. So this is everything you would get as a tier 1 sub, okay? The packs in between at 10, 20, 30, and 40, those are all to the free player, all good. You're just not going to pick up the coins and trophies in between. But as a free player or a tier 1 sub player, you have a pretty good stretch of stuff that you can get. So subscriber 1, you can make up to what, 36,000 coins if you hit 40K. And plus you are going to make a base epic pack, an unlimited player, a guaranteed event pack, and then an unlimited event insert player guaranteed. Okay, so that's a lot, and that's just getting up to 40K points. Okay, in our unlimited. Now, another way to look at this, in the way this is kind of broken out, is I looked at it as, okay, that's kind of early game. This is definitely mid to upper tier game. And then you're starting to talk end game from here on down, okay? And that's the way the coins were broken out as well. So if we look at like what is technically like the tier 2 section of this, it would be here, okay? So for the $5 extra a month, you'll get your bonus entry to Blackout. You'll be able to hit higher insert stuff for the epics and the capped, and then you'll be able to earn an additional, what is that, 60K on top if you can get to 55. Now, don't forget, this shouldn't be looked at as a bad thing. As you start your account and you're a free tier or you're tier 1, you're only gonna be getting to here anyway, In a really good week, you might get to here. As you start to really, want more, need more, do more, well, maybe you move your sub up. That will give you more resources each week. Other stuff, you can start building towards the middle of the game in here. And then you know what? You really love the game. You get into it big time. You really want the top tier rewards. Then you consider, hitting a tier 3 sub, because it does make sense. And again, man, it all goes to support all the stuff that we're building. So to me, this makes a ton of sense. This was the best way to do it. This wasn't to, screw people out of Blackout or what. It was literally to get rid of the another exploit that we've had in the game, one that should have been realized earlier that I didn't, and one that was, now that I've had time waiting for all of I'm sorry, I should go here, all the event stuff to pop, I had time to dedicate towards getting into it this weekend. Okay, so again, you guys will be able to see all this stuff. You can drop comments if you want, if you're not in Discord. If you are in Discord, or you just want to get at me and say, hey, I don't agree, I have weird feelings on it, I would rather it be this, you may not be thinking of that. No big deal, man. Hit the homepage over on the site. drop down to the Discord pane down here, click join. You'll jump in Discord with all of us. And you'll be able to chat it up, DM me, and there's a bunch of other stuff in there for you guys to get situated. And again, if you are new here and you're just getting into the game, you're learning it, Blackout's going to be where you're going to start. It's going to be easier understanding as a freebie tier or having a tier 1 sub once you get to level 7 in missions, right? You hit level 7 in missions up here, right? You DM me, I'll hook you up with a tier 1 sub for the month. You'll get to check it all out. You'll get to play for the bigger prizes, okay? And then again, as you progress, you get into the game more, you want to do more, maybe you decide to up your sub tier. It's just going to pay off, but again, it's going to pay off by the ratio that it should pay off. It shouldn't be, oh, you're just a tier 1 player, you get a shot at everything coin. It actually it was a bad setup, okay? So we're trying to fix that one up, okay? So that is going to be the big explanation on why payouts and the contest structure and everything has changed. Again, this is going to be a weird month anyway, so I'm just kind of getting into, hey, this was going to happen in September anyway for the new season. Why not do it now? We're just kind of getting in this month. It's going to kind of be all over the place anyway. So that is what it is. All right. The other 3 things. So I just want to let you guys know, if you weren't here, if you're kind of just catching up, if you haven't been in live shows here on YouTube or over on Twitch, where you can get free packs every time we're up, we're always giving away packs. You got to be in Twitch chat though to get in and hit the keywords and draft along with us all month long. But you may not have seen, these are the other 3 big changes that we've had recently. One that will have a bigger effect coming up in September, and 2 more that are going to start ASAP and are a big deal, okay? So if you guys have played in Blackout, if you've had a tie before, you've realized you're below somebody else, you don't get the same rewards, that is no longer a thing. Think of a golf leaderboard. We now have it pay out so that if you tie for first, even if your other lineups are somewhere else, it doesn't matter, you get first place rewards. That is a new thing. So ties have finally been added. So if you and 2 other people end up tied in first, you will all get everything on this list, or on the top list, I guess, and you'll get more if you are a tier 1 subscriber at minimum. Okay, that's the one. That was the first big change. Second one is blackouts. So blackouts, which are the reward card for the Blackout contest. Again, the newer contest. It is everything from here to here. Here to here. Event Blackout insert. This is a guaranteed player in whatever event we are in, a guaranteed Blackout version of that player. And the equip is a guaranteed Blackout piece of equipment. Now, this is a base Blackout player. You can rebirth this for whatever you want, any holiday you want. Down here, this is a Blackout of a non-matching holiday. Doesn't matter. As you can see, the Epic gear down here gives +4. The Blackout gear now gives +5. So Blackout gear, also an Epic, all matching on a Blackout card, will give a guaranteed +1 on top. And if you do have a full nice set, doesn't have to be full, but if you have cards where the piece of gear is Blackout, it matches the same event of your Blackout player, it will give an additional plus on top. So base Epic bonus bind, rarity bind is +4. Blackout bind adds 1 to +5. And if it's matching and Blackout, they go to all the way to +6. What that means, bind adds an extra additional point to each of these. So that is 6 for each of these into each of these stats here. That's how we come up with these numbers down here. And bind points do not add to rating. So when we say Blackouts are cap killers, they are cap killers because this card was 562,205 prior to the change. Each of these pieces of gear went up +1. That is 6 more pluses down here, an additional 6 in each of these for 24 total points, making this card much more powerful, especially with the full open slot set for the Blackout player. And so this is best bang for your buck rating wise and packs quite the punch. So that's why that changes that in to make these a little bit better, so they kind of outweigh the legendaries a bit, especially for our capped games. Okay, that was change number 2. And then finally, the biggest change probably of maybe the year. This might be a little bit bigger than event than the event page is the holiday chances, okay, on pulling cards. Now, what you see here is everything. These are the numbers with regards to stat points for each rarity. Also, 1 in 12, this is what the holiday rebirth chance was, or the pull rate on cards and packs. We have a holiday going on. If it's any of the actual holidays, excluding draft and champ, because they're not holidays, they don't work in the same way. That's why we have this issue and we're down right now. Every holiday prior, the pull rate was 1 in 12. Whether you pulled a normal or whether you pulled a super, the chance of it being a holiday card was 1 in 12. What does that mean? That means you have 1 million normal cards at the end of each event that are holiday, and you have very few, if any, super cards that hit holiday, okay? And that means, you know, supers being 1 in 3,000 chance to pull one in a pack. That means then if you hit a super, it would be 1 in 12 roll the chance that you would actually get a holiday card, meaning the chances of you hitting the right player plus super plus then hitting holiday to get yourself a holiday insert was much lower. Now it goes from a flat 1 in 12 to normals become 1 in 20, which is good because you don't need that many. Greens become 1 in 16. Rares stay at 1 in 12. So that's the same that it was. And then it goes up from there, which is so nice. Epics go to 1 in 8. Legendaries 1 in 5. And this means anytime you pull a super during a holiday, you have a 1 in 4 chance of that super to hit holiday. Okay? That is a massive upgrade. And additionally, it's not just in pack pulls. This also means unlimited supers, base super players, whatever. If you can rebirth the card for a holiday, these are also the chances of that. So base supers that people didn't want, Kemp's base super, Josh Allen, whatever, that in the past maybe people didn't want to trade for. Well, now it goes from 1 in 12 to 1 in 4. Much better chance to hit it. Definitely, I would say, worth the gamble compared to what it was before. And now, with resources being half the cost to rebirth a Super Unlimited, Super Unlimiteds are now, in my opinion, much better than Whiteout Unlimiteds. Yeah, you can pick your stats along the way, but not having to do any of it, Super Unlimiteds, that is the best change maybe of all. All right, so I appreciate you guys. I'm going to drop this video a little bit in a little bit. I don't have a lot of time before we're about to draft. So let me get this uploaded. And again, that's the explanation. Get at me on Discord if you have anything you want to chit chat about. And other than that, we're live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 p.m. on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch if you want to win packs. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.